Ma'am, step away from the vehicle. Whose car is this?
It's mine, officer. I just left a business meeting in that building.
You expect me to believe that? Show me your ID right now.
You're profiling me, officer. I'm Dr. Olivia Carter, CEO of BioNTech.
Have you ever felt judged just because of the color of your skin? Imagine working your entire life to achieve your dreams, only to be reduced to a stereotype in a single, terrifying moment. This is the story of Olivia, a brilliant CEO who faced exactly that, and how one traffic stop changed everything. Before we dive in, tell us, where are you watching from? Drop your country or state in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next is absolutely unbelievable, and you won't want to miss stories like this. Olivia stared ahead at the endless highway, the city lights blurring in the distance. She had just closed a deal that would take her company, a tech startup focused on equitable AI, to the next level. Years of late nights, sacrifices, and unwavering determination had led to this moment. Tired but exhilarated, she was eager to get home to her daughter, Maya. It was a Friday evening, and she had promised Maya a movie night. As Olivia drove, lost in thought about the exciting future ahead, she noticed flashing lights in her rearview mirror. A police car was signaling her to pull over. She signaled, carefully steered her car to the shoulder of the road, and took a deep breath. She always felt a knot of anxiety in her stomach whenever she saw flashing police lights. The officer approached her car, his face unreadable. "License and registration, please," he said, his voice flat. Olivia calmly reached into her purse, retrieved her wallet, and handed him the requested documents. She made sure to keep her hands visible and her tone respectful. The officer glanced at the documents, then back at Olivia. "Do you know why I pulled you over?" he asked. Olivia frowned slightly. "No, sir, I don't. Was I speeding?" "We'll get to that," he said, his eyes narrowing slightly. "Where are you coming from?" "I'm coming from downtown. I had a business meeting." "A business meeting?" The officer's tone suggested disbelief. "What kind of business?" Olivia hesitated for a split second, a wave of unease washing over her. She was the CEO of a successful tech company, a fact she was proud of. But she also knew that as a black woman, her success was often met with skepticism and suspicion. "I run a tech company," she said, her voice steady. "We specialize in artificial intelligence." The officer raised an eyebrow. "Is that so? And what's a woman like you running a tech company?" Olivia's heart sunk. She knew where this was going. Olivia remained calm, though anger simmered beneath the surface. "I'm running a tech company because I'm qualified to do so," she replied, her voice even. "I have a degree in computer science and years of experience in the industry." The officer smirked. "Sure you do, and I'm the King of England. I'm going to need you to step out of the car." Olivia's mind raced. This wasn't a routine traffic stop anymore. This was harassment. She knew her rights, but she also knew that resisting could escalate the situation. "Sir, with all due respect, I haven't done anything wrong," she said. "I'd like to know why you're asking me to step out of the car." "I said, step out of the car," the officer repeated, his voice hardening. He reached for his radio. "I need backup at this location. Possible obstruction." Olivia felt a surge of fear. Backup? For a simple traffic stop? This was clearly about more than a supposed traffic violation. She reluctantly unbuckled her seatbelt and stepped out of the car, her hands raised. The officer immediately began to pat her down, his touch rough and invasive. "Sir, I object to this search," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "I haven't given you permission." The officer ignored her protest and continued the search. He found nothing, of course. Olivia was a law-abiding citizen with nothing to hide. "Now," the officer said, his eyes fixed on her, "let's talk about what's really going on here. A fancy car like this, late at night. Where did you get the money for it?" Olivia stared at him incredulous. "I earned it. I built my company from the ground up." The officer scoffed. "Yeah, right. I bet you're dealing drugs. That's how women like you get ahead." Olivia gasped, her face flushed with rage. "That's a disgusting accusation. I demand to speak to your supervisor." "You'll speak to me, and you'll answer my questions. Where's the drugs?" Olivia knew she had to stay calm. She had to protect herself and her reputation, but she also knew that she couldn't let this officer get away with this blatant act of racial profiling. As the officer continued his interrogation, a second police car arrived, sirens blaring. 2 more officers approached, their faces grim. Olivia felt completely surrounded and vulnerable. One of the new officers, a younger woman with a kind face, approached Olivia. "Ma'am, are you okay?" she asked, her voice low. Olivia looked at her, a flicker of hope in her eyes. "No, I'm not okay," she said. "This officer is harassing me and making false accusations." The young officer turned to the first officer, her expression questioning. "Officer Miller, what's going on here?" Officer Miller glared at Olivia before turning to his colleague. "Just a routine traffic stop," he said. "This woman is being uncooperative." "But why did you call for backup?" the young officer asked. "It seems like a simple traffic violation." Officer Miller hesitated, his face turning red. I had reason to believe she was involved in illegal activity," he stammered. The young officer looked back at Olivia, her eyes filled with sympathy. "Ma'am, can you tell me your side of the story?" Olivia took a deep breath and recounted the events of the traffic stop, emphasizing the officer's biased questions and unfounded accusations. The young officer listened intently, her expression growing increasingly concerned. When Olivia finished, she turned to Officer Miller, her voice firm. "Officer Miller, I think we need to take a step back here. This doesn't seem right." Officer Miller bristled. "Are you questioning my authority?" he demanded. "I'm questioning your judgment," the young officer replied. "I think we need to investigate this further." As the 2 officers argued, Olivia felt a glimmer of hope. Maybe, just maybe, justice would prevail. The young officer insisted on reviewing the dash cam footage from Officer Miller's car. Reluctantly, he agreed. As they watched the footage, the truth became undeniable. The dash cam captured everything: Officer Miller's initial stop, his biased questions, his unfounded accusations, and his aggressive behavior. It was all there in black and white. The young officer was appalled. She immediately turned to Officer Miller, her face filled with disgust. "This is unacceptable," she said. "You racially profiled this woman. You abused your authority." Officer Miller tried to defend himself, but the evidence was overwhelming. He knew he was caught. The young officer turned to Olivia, her voice filled with sincerity. "Ma'am, I am so sorry for what you've been through. This is not how we are supposed to treat people. Officer Miller's actions are not representative of this police department." Olivia nodded, tears welling up in her eyes. "Thank you," she said. "Thank you for seeing the truth." The young officer immediately contacted her supervisor and reported Officer Miller's misconduct. An internal investigation was launched, and Officer Miller was placed on administrative leave. News of Olivia's traffic stop quickly spread through social media. Outraged citizens demanded justice for Olivia and called for an end to racial profiling. Olivia decided to speak out publicly about her experience. She gave interviews to news outlets and shared her story on social media. She wanted to raise awareness about the issue of racial profiling and inspire others to fight for equality. Her story resonated with millions of people around the world. Many shared their own experiences of being racially profiled by the police. Olivia became a symbol of hope and resilience for those who had been marginalized and oppressed. The police department issued a formal apology to Olivia and promised to implement new training programs to address racial bias. Officer Miller was eventually fired from the police department and faced criminal charges for his misconduct. Olivia's ordeal had a profound impact on her life. She became an advocate for police reform and worked tirelessly to promote racial justice. She used her platform to empower other Black women and to inspire them to achieve their dreams regardless of the obstacles they faced. Olivia's story didn't just end with the firing of one officer.
It sparked a citywide conversation about race, privilege, and the need for police reform. The mayor formed a task force to review police procedures and implement changes to prevent future incidents of racial profiling. The task force recommended body cameras for all officers, increased community policing initiatives, and mandatory implicit bias training. The city council approved the recommendations, and the police department began implementing the changes. Olivia continued to be involved in the reform process, working with community leaders and law enforcement officials to build trust and understanding. She also launched a foundation to support young Black entrepreneurs and provide them with the resources they need to succeed. Years later, Olivia looked back on the traffic stop that had changed her life. It had been a terrifying and humiliating experience, but it had also given her a purpose. She had used her experience to make a difference in the world, to fight for justice, and to inspire others to do the same. She often thought about the young officer who had stood up for her that night. She had been a beacon of hope in a dark situation, a reminder that there are good people in the world who are willing to do the right thing, even when it's difficult. Olivia knew that the fight for racial justice was far from over, but she was determined to keep fighting until everyone was treated with dignity and respect, regardless of the color of their skin. Have you ever experienced something similar to Olivia? Share your story in the comments below. Let's start a conversation and work together to create a more just and equitable world. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories.